All right, everyone. So this is a story I did not expect to be doing, but we now know that Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, you have that right. The 8-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick is not going to be a Hall of Famer as he did not get the 40 of 50 votes. So the reason for this, according to ESPN, is, or one of the reasons, is Bill Polian. So this is from the article. Multiple sources told ESPN that Spygate and Deflategate, the twin cheating scandals during the Patriots championship run, came up in the deliberations amongst voters. A voter who spoke on the condition of a nominee said that Polian, an ardent Kraft supporter and the former general manager of the Buffalo Bills and Indianapolis Colts, a chief Patriots rival during their dynasty, told some voters he believed Belichick should wait a year before induction as a penance for Spygate, the 2007 cheating scandal that cost the team a first-round draft pick. Commissioner Roger Goodell also fined the Patriots $500K and fined Belichick $250K. Polian did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The only explanation for the outcome was the cheating stuff. A veteran Hall of Famer, a veteran Hall voter told ESPN on Tuesday it really bothered some of the guys. Text from an NFL executive, according to Adam Schefter. The 10 plus people that didn't vote for Bill Belichick should be exposed. WTF, this is crazy. And by the way, I completely agree with that, for the record. I completely agree with that. They should be exposed. I understand, I guess, usually we don't know where these votes come down, but this is egregious. If these cheating scandals weren't enough for the championship rings of the Patriots to be pulled, and we're still counting those as Patriot Super Bowls, you cannot use that. You cannot use that to go ahead and stop him from entering the Hall of Fame in his first year. We're looking at some of the stats here. 6 Super Bowl wins as a head coach, 2 more as the defensive coordinator, I believe, of the Giants. Super Bowl appearances, 9. These both rank all time for coaches. Playoff wins, 31. That ranks number 1 all time. In wins, 333. That is second all time. And if he ever gets back in the league, he'll be able to pass the first. This is shocking. And it's one of those things that I've been very frustrated with ever since Belichick and Brady kind of broke up, right, in a sense, and Brady was gone. It's amazing to me how people want to remove all context from everything that happens. Do I think that Bill Belichick would have 9 Super Bowl appearances and 6 wins without Tom Brady? No, I do not. Do I think Tom Brady would have his Super Bowl wins? So I guess that would be the 4 with Belichick and the 1 more that he got without him when he went to the Bucks. Do I think he would have all of those without Bill Belichick? No, I do not. Would both of them probably have found success and had won? Sure, right? I think that is true. But the 2-decade run that they had would not have been the 2-decade run without both of them in unison together, right? This is not something that you could take one away from the other. And it's amazing. You listen, you hear, well, you understand as soon as Brady left, he went and won a championship. Yes, Tom Brady was able to pick and choose what team he wanted to go to. And what team did he go to? A team that had a good defense, a team that had stud receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and other really good receivers. He went to a team that was stacked for a reason. That was a team that, with Jameis Winston, was constantly around 500, and Brady was just what they needed to get over that hump. He was just what they needed. If Belichick could have picked, hey, I'm going to go to, what team do I want to go to, and not have been a part of a rebuild, sure, right? Maybe he could have won a championship without Tom Brady. And I wonder if there's any chance here that this makes Belichick want to get back into, the NFL and prove some people wrong. Let's be clear about something. This is an outrage. This is an absolute outrage that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. An outrage. There is no world in which you could look, well, the cheating stuff. First of all, the Deflategate, most people understand. In terms of the cheating stuff, very minimum. Very minimum. Doesn't matter in the slightest. Doesn't matter in the slightest. Spygate, sure, much bigger, right? But like I said, if there's really nothing, if we're still counting all the Super Bowls he won, right? We're not taking anything back, then how could you hold that against him in the Hall of Fame voting? It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. And I do think it's an outrage. And part of this that I find a little bit interesting, and I'm speculating here. I'm not claiming that this is happening because I don't know for sure. But one thing I want to once again point to is him. The ESPN article says Polian, an ardent Kraft supporter. Now, understand something about Robert Kraft, and obviously he's looking pretty good right now in terms of his hiring of Mike Vrabel. But Robert Kraft, the way he kind of dealt with Belichick at the end and treated him at the end was also pretty disgusting in a lot of ways. It wasn't just that you fired him. People could, disagree on whether he should have been fired or not. That's all well and good. But when Belichick was interviewing for the Falcons job, it was reported at the time he actively sabotaged Bill Belichick's ability to get that job and basically told him, kind of put in a bad word for him with the Atlanta Falcons. And now you have someone who, according to ESPN, is an ardent Kraft supporter who is stopping him from being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Once again, I just it seems quite odd to me. I'm going to be interested to see what Robert Kraft says about this. Right, I think Kraft should come out forcefully and call out Polian by name. Right, because this is a complete outrage. This is one of the worst things I've seen in quite some time in the sports world. This is you taking an all-time great coach. Okay, this for NFL fans, we all remember, we all understand what it was like for 2 decades watching as the Patriots really dominated, right? Everybody but the New York Giants in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, they do have 3 losses, but you get the point. It was 20 years of pure dominance, and to see now that we're going to pretend that maybe that dominance, that we're going to bring up the cheating stuff and all of that, and we're not going to take away rings, right? Like if this is all as serious as these NFL voters, these Hall of Fame voters make it out to be, then there should be more than him not being in the Hall of Fame. And by the way, when they're going to induct him in the Hall of Fame, I don't know what the waiting period is on NFL players. But are they gonna is he gonna get kind of knocked down for cheating as well? I don't know what Brady knew about Spygate, so maybe that goes away. But Deflategate, Brady was the one that was suspended for that. So is he now not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of that? I would be stunned if they did that to Tom Brady. So you shouldn't do it to Bill Belichick. And it's just one of the worst narratives I think that's going. Regardless of what Bill Belichick does for the rest of his coaching career in terms of success, there may never be another height that Bill Belichick reached while he was coaching the New England Patriots. And if we're going to do this thing, or we're going to pretend that all of that was Tom Brady and that Bill Belichick had nothing to do with it, despite the fact that really the first 3 Super Bowls they won were defensive Super Bowls, right? The defense was in the driving force in those years. If we're going to pretend that Belichick was just along for the ride on this, I think it's a disgrace. And if you ask Tom Brady, he'd say it's pretty much a disgrace too. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next.